You are not going to believe this. I stopped posting on social media for an entire year. I lost a lot of followers. I lost a lot of views, yet I still made over $100,000. And yes, I'm fully aware that the hook is really cringe, but I am pulling all the stops because there are so many interesting things that creators should know about before they decide to take a break on social media. So bear with me and keep watching. Now, in case you missed it, in my last video, I talked about why and how I quit my 7-figure creator business. That included me leaving social media entirely for a year. Now, the results completely blew my mind. And in this video, I'm not going to only share the behind the scenes of what happened to my Instagram and my YouTube channel, but I'm also going to share how it impacted my income and the lessons that you can learn based on this experience. And so let's go over to my desk and let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, let's first talk about YouTube. Now, before I left social media, I was actively working on growing and optimizing my YouTube channel, specifically the amount of Adsense revenue that I was making. I had a YouTube consultant and a dedicated team working behind the scenes to get my Adsense revenue up. And it worked. After making some minor adjustments, like posting longer videos and maximizing the ad breaks in each video, all the way to doing bigger adjustments like constant A/B testing for titles and thumbnails that would get the most clicks, our strategies started to work. And as you can see here, my AdSense revenue basically doubled and nearly tripled the moment that we implemented these changes. However, the moment that I stopped posting on YouTube, you're gonna see a huge dip in my revenue. And this was not what I was really expecting. I thought that if I left social media, I would probably make around the same money that I was making even when I was posting, but that is farther from the truth. I went from making $10,000 a month to about $500 a month now. To me, that is a huge, huge decline, especially considering the size of my channel having 700,000 subscribers. And so this is a learning lesson for you. And that is, when it comes to making money specifically on your YouTube videos, it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. What matters is the views. And not only this, when you stop posting videos on YouTube, YouTube is going to stop pushing out your videos in the algorithm. Now, how exactly do I know this? Well, we're gonna have to look at my traffic sources. Now, as you can see, before I stopped posting on YouTube, a lot of the views that I got on my channel came from browse. Now, what exactly is browse? Well, it's a few things, but mainly it's the YouTube homepage. And how YouTube decides what videos to show in browse is based on a few factors. Specifically, it's really tailored to the viewer. For example, YouTube will understand what the viewer, aka you, is watching in your search history. It's also going to consider the watch time that you have for specific videos. So for example, if you tend to have a longer watch time on makeup videos, then YouTube will be more likely to suggest makeup creators to you. Not only this, it's also going to look at other people who have a similar watch pattern to you and figuring out what those people like watching. Because there's a big chance that if those people like watching a certain subject, then you might like to watch that certain subject. And so the goal really for YouTube is to make more money. YouTube wants to push out videos to you that they think that you will watch in full. Because if you watch a video in full, YouTube is going to make more money from their advertisers. Now, if that was truly only the case, then I don't think I would have taken such a big hit when it came to my views coming from browse. And so that's why I want to introduce the second layer of why certain channels get pushed out into YouTube browse more than others. And that is the fact that YouTube rewards creators that create bingeability, that have the ability to make sure their viewers are watching multiple videos and staying on the YouTube platform. Which is exactly why in the past, when I create videos, at the end of every single video, I maximize my end screens and I'm making sure that you guys are watching the next video that I have.
That being said, if you are serious about building your content machine, but you need help on actually being the thought leader and creating the content from scratch, make sure you watch this video next. I break down some tools and resources and strategies on how to actually create good content, and I also go into my content process in even more depth. So thank you so much for watching this video, but I will see you in this one next.
I also maximize my cards, so whenever I'm talking in a video and I'm saying something that might relate to a past last video I've created, I make sure I link that card. I also try to stay within a niche in my channel, or at least create a mini series of videos that follow a specific topic. And the reason why this is important is because let's say you create a video about dentistry, and then you attract the viewer who's really interested in this subject. They go to your channel and there's no other videos on that topic. Well, that person is going to leave and go somewhere else, which is why for me, if I'm creating a video on social media, I'm gonna make sure I have a little bit more videos around the same subject, so that same viewer is going to binge on my content. And that is exactly why, for those of you who are starting a YouTube channel for the first time, to kind of stay within a niche, or at least have about 5 videos that have a similar subject so you can create bingeability. Now, beyond staying within a niche, or at least creating a mini series following a specific topic, what I also do is that every time I share my videos out to the public and I link my videos, I make sure that I link the playlist link. All right, so the way that you want people to binge on your content is this little hack right here. So when you're on your channel, there is this play all button. You want to click that button. Once you click on your video, you're then going to be able to grab this list link. It's anything that's after the and sign. You want to copy that. And then for any video that you want to share to the public, you just paste that and list link at the end of every URL that you share. Once you have that, anytime someone clicks on that link, what's going to happen is on the side, it's going to show all of your videos instead of YouTube suggested, which is going to have other people's videos. Not only this, once that person is done watching the video, it's going to autoplay the next video. So what you noticed right there is that it went from this video to my next video automatically. And so next time you share a video, you're going to want to share that list link right here. And you can use this same code for every single video that you share. It's going to have the same result. I also make sure to maximize all the ad breaks on my channel to demonstrate to YouTube that, hey, my videos earn money for you and earn money for your advertisers, which gives them even more reason to push my channel and my content out on the algorithm. And so for me, the moment that I stopped posting and being an active creator on YouTube, I obviously stopped doing all of those things. And so I saw a huge drop when it came to my visibility, especially on browse. By not posting anymore to my channel, there was no more novelty to my content. And YouTube would rather prioritize active creators who are demonstrating consistency and making sure they're featuring them more than people like me who aren't even posting on their channel anymore. What really shocked me though from these results is how fast I got punished. As you can see here, before I took my social media break, I was getting about 337,000 views a month from browse alone. But the moment I stopped, the month that I stopped, that immediately dropped down to 60,000 views. Now to some of you, it's still a lot of views, but for a channel of my size, it's not that much. And you'll see that steady decline as the months went on. But the biggest drop was actually the first initial month where I stopped posting. Now, at this point of the video, it's pretty discouraging to see how fast YouTube slapped me in the wrist for multiple months because I didn't post on their platform for a whole year. To be honest, kind of understandable. But here's what really surprised me, and that is YouTube search. Take a look at this. Now, even though you see a huge decline and drop when it comes to YouTube pushing out my videos in people's homepages, what you'll notice is that my search volume pretty much remained the same. It's pretty consistent. That line is almost relatively straight. And not only this, even though I didn't post for an entire year on YouTube, I actually gained subscribers. In fact, I gained 20,000 subscribers, which helped me get to the 700,000 subscriber mark on my channel. And by the way, I cannot say the same for Instagram, so keep watching to know my thoughts on Instagram because side eye. But anyways, even though gaining 20,000 subscribers doesn't seem like a lot compared to what I usually do, which is 100,000 subscribers on average per year, it's still really encouraging to know that even though I didn't post for an entire year, I still had a net positive when it came to my subscriber count. Beyond this, I'm really glad that my channel is not necessarily a vlog channel or an entertainment channel, and it's more of an educational channel with a lot of searchable topics that people are looking for. And that's really evident in the data right here. People are still actively looking for the topics that I talk about, and they're clicking my videos and they're becoming subscribers thanks to my videos. Beyond this, what really surprised me was seeing that one of the top videos that brought me the most subscribers was actually a YouTube short that I posted 2 years ago. This YouTube short is not new. I posted it a long time ago, but in the new year, I guess a lot of people were searching about Instagram algorithms, and so they found my YouTube short and then they became a subscriber. And so what I'm learning from this is that number one, there is so much power in creating searchable content. And if you are a creator who wants to take a break, having an arsenal of searchable content is really going to help you sustain your income and also sustain your channel, but also the potential of YouTube shorts. Now, for those of you who are posting reels and TikToks, YouTube searchability is unmatched. And YouTube is really one of the only platforms that will still push your old content. And so if I was a creator and I was going to be smart about this, I would actually upload a lot of my short form content onto YouTube and make sure the title is a searchable title so that I can create longevity for my creator career and also still see growth over time. Now, at the beginning of this video, I was pretty straightforward in letting you guys know that I made over $100,000 even though I wasn't posting for an entire year. And the reason is because of YouTube search and also the fact that I had evergreen money makers doing the work for me even when I wasn't working. So for every single video, usually in the description, I will have my affiliate links and I also have some templates that people can purchase. Both of these revenue streams are things that don't require any work from me. I post it once and it basically earns income for whoever decides to buy or click or whatever. And so if you actually look at my income statement, you'll see that YouTube AdSense, affiliate marketing, and these templates that I did one-off actually really helped sustain my sabbatical. It really sustained my time off, which I'm really grateful for. And so I really hope that by showing you guys behind the scenes of what happened to me when I stopped posting really shows you the potential of YouTube. It shows you the potential of passive income streams, and it might even help you reconsider where you want to focus your efforts when it comes to the type of content that you create and the platform that you create it on. And the reason why I'm hinting that you may reconsider where you put your efforts in is because so many of the positive things that I found with YouTube, yes, even though they punished me, and yes, even though I definitely don't get the same amount of views that I did before or the same amount of subscriber growth that I did before, is the fact that Instagram, oh my goodness, Instagram was a whole different story, and it makes me so much more grateful that I had a YouTube channel covering my ass while I was away. And so let's take a look at my Instagram so I can show you what I'm talking about. So when I left Instagram, I had about 280,000 followers. At the time that I'm filming this video, I now have about 267,000 followers. Now, even though losing 13,000 followers doesn't seem like a lot considering that I was gone for an entire year, what you have to realize is that this is the net, meaning that it's including all of the new followers that I got. And so if you actually think about it and you forget about the new followers, the real number of how many people probably unfollowed my profile the moment I told everyone, peace out, I'm no longer posting, is probably closer to 30 to 50,000 or even more, which is pretty insane. And the reason why I know that there was at least 50,000 people unfollowing me is because every 3 months I would have way over 10,000 people unfollowing. And so if I was gone for a year, you can easily do the math and estimate that it was around 50,000 people at least who unfollowed. Now, unfortunately, Instagram doesn't really show you any data past 3 months, but even with this sample size alone of the last 90 days, you can see that there are way more people unfollowing me than there are following me, which is why I'm at a net negative. Versus on YouTube, there was probably still a few people that were unsubscribing, but the amount of new subscribers I was getting was far more than the people that were unsubscribing. And so that is why I had a net positive on YouTube. Not only this, when I compare the differences between YouTube and Instagram, on YouTube, there was tons of activity happening every single day. People were still engaging in my videos, I was still getting comments, I was still getting even DMs from people that found me on YouTube. Whereas on Instagram, it was pretty much crickets. Ain't nobody commenting on my content content. Ain't nobody liking anything. It was basically dead over on Instagram. And so why do we think that this happened? Why is there such a big difference on how the audience reacts on Instagram versus on YouTube? Well, I think that the answer boils down to two things. Number one is platform intimacy. The truth is that Instagram is a much more intimate platform than YouTube. And this can be a great thing, but it can also be a terrible thing. Instagram is the platform where you can build a really solid community. You can chat with people. People can know the intimacies and the intricacies of your life. And at the same time, people can unfollow you just like that. When you think about it, if you're looking at YouTube, when is the last time that you actually checked which channels that you were subscribed to? I know for me, I'm still subscribed to channels that I watched like 10 years ago that I don't watch anymore. Because how the YouTube algorithm works is that it's constantly showing you channels and videos that you're not even really subscribed to. Also, when you're searching for things, YouTube isn't going to suggest you videos of just the people that you subscribe to. It's going to show you any video that match that particular topic that you're looking for. Whereas on Instagram, that's not really the case. Once you follow someone, you're gonna see their content all the time on stories, on feed posts, and even on the explore page, unless you unfollow and you unmute. The culture on Instagram is also very different. The culture on Instagram is that we care a lot about who we're following and our follower to following ratio. And so very often people will do purges on Instagram. When's the last time you did a YouTube purge? I know personally I've never done a YouTube purge. Whereas on Instagram, every time I'm feeling down or every time it's a new season of my life or every time it's the new year, I'm gonna carefully look back on who I'm following and unfollow or mute anyone that I don't really want to follow anymore. And so I'm not surprised that the moment I posted that I was going to be on a sabbatical and that I was going to take a whole year off, that a bunch of people unfollowed. And so platform intimacy is something that you have to consider when you're crafting your social media strategy and also when you're choosing which platform you want to create content on. Now, the second reason why I think that there was such a stark difference between the amount of activity that I saw on both platforms while I was away is the fact that Instagram values recency, whereas YouTube values watch time and quality of content. And so what I mean by this is when you search anything on YouTube, you may still get videos shown to you that were posted ages ago. In my case, if you look at the example that I mentioned earlier, my YouTube short that I posted 2 years ago was still getting traction. This would not be the case on Instagram. Even though Instagram has significantly improved their search function, when you search something on Instagram, more likely than not, all the posts that Instagram shows you are posts that were created not too long ago. It's still pretty recent. And so in my case, because I stopped posting on Instagram entirely, Instagram was definitely no longer pushing out any of my content, which basically meant that all the posts that I had created was no longer going to get comments, no longer going to get likes, and I was no longer going to get new followers, which is why my growth on Instagram was basically a net negative, whereas my growth on YouTube was a net positive. So what are the exact lessons that you can take into your creator business, especially now knowing my experience with Instagram and YouTube when I stopped posting content for a year? Well, the first lesson that I personally learned is to know how each platform works. Through my experience, what I learned is that Instagram is an instant gratification platform. You can get a follower really fast, but you can also get someone unfollowing you pretty fast as well. And so many people choose to build their brands on Instagram because you get that immediate result most of the times. You post something, you get an immediate like, you get an immediate comment, maybe you even get an immediate DM. Whereas on YouTube, it takes a lot more work and a lot more patience to get your channel up and running. And so when you're thinking about your social media strategy or what platforms you might want to invest your time in, it's almost like you have to think about what are the short-term gains that you want, but also what is the long-term vision that you have. For example, Instagram is definitely really amazing to be able to build community in and to get your brand started. But keep in mind that you're probably gonna have to be consistent on Instagram forever in order for you to stay relevant. Whereas what you learned in this video is with YouTube, even though I didn't post for a year, I still had a net positive when it came to growing my channel, and it was something that was still bringing me revenue. Even though it wasn't as much as before, it was still money on the table. I cannot say the same for Instagram. And so you kind of have to ask yourself, where do I see my career in the future? And what do I want to have set up in the long term? For me, I know for a fact that there is an expiry date on how long I'm going to be a creator for. Maybe in the future, I might want to start a family and I might want to be in a position where I don't want to be on camera every single day. And so it makes sense for someone with my goals to stay on YouTube and to focus on YouTube and build this asset that I have. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to be on Instagram. I still see value in Instagram, especially with Instagram stories, being able to link your products, being able to have that intimacy with your followers and building community. But this has really taught me of, hey, where I might want to invest most of my time in and most of my money in is probably a platform like YouTube versus putting so much pressure on myself to try to grow on Instagram. Now, the second lesson that I also learned is the importance of diversifying your revenue streams. Now, luckily, I already had a different revenue stream set up, but prior to me taking my social media break, I put a lot of time and effort only focusing on my coaching programs, because my coaching programs was what was bringing me the most money. I made multiple millions of dollars a year by selling coaching programs and actively running them. But the thing that you have to know though is even though these coaching programs made me multiple six figures a month and multiple millions of dollars a year, it also took a lot of time and effort in order for me to even make that type of revenue. And so it was actively managed all the time. It required a lot of effort. And the moment I decided to take a break and stop all those things, all of that money basically stopped as well. It wasn't necessarily a passive income stream. Whereas when I decided to take a whole year off for my mental health, the revenue streams that really came through for me was my YouTube channel AdSense revenue, it was my affiliate marketing, and it was also the one-off templates that I would sell. These are templates that don't require any work from me. They're passive income products that are tied to my YouTube videos. And so these were really the three revenue streams that were working for me even when I wasn't working. Through this experience, I also learned the value of building a personal brand and building a social media audience. The reason why I say this is because even before I came back to social media, I already had brand deal offers for me even before I came back to work. And so that goes to show the power of focusing and investing your time in building your audience, especially on platforms where you know that companies are willing to pay a lot more for collaborations. So for example, platforms like YouTube and podcasts are known to have companies that are going to pay a lot more for that content because they know that that audience is much more engaged since it's a long form piece of content. Versus content on Instagram and TikTok, even though brands will pay you for collaboration, it's likely going to be a lot less than what a YouTuber or what a podcaster is going to make. And for me in particular, knowing now that, whoa, I left a lot of money on the table by not taking brand sponsorships, and I left a lot of money on the table by not optimizing my other revenue streams like affiliate marketing and my digital products and my AdSense revenue and all of that, is that because I didn't do any of that, I put a lot of pressure on myself to sell my own programs, to sell my own products. And a lot of creators emphasize the importance of just selling your own stuff and not relying on brand deals and all of that. But when you don't diversify and you only focus on that one revenue stream, you're gonna be in a position where you may burn out like I did. Or you may be in a position where you have to actively, continuously work all the time. And so what I learned from this experience is that having diversified revenue streams allows you to create balance in your life. And again, if you haven't watched my last video where I talked about why and how I quit my 7-figure creator business, you'll see that I basically ran myself to the ground because I didn't have that balance. And so I think that there's a huge, huge learning lesson here when it comes to diversified revenue streams. Now, moving on to the next lesson that you can apply to your creator business is content quality over quantity still matters. There's this huge trend now of a lot of creators, including myself back then, talking about the importance of posting as many content pieces as you can. And with the rise of short form videos being a lot more popular, there's definitely an appeal to only post short form content and post a huge volume of short form content. But what I learned is that when I took that time off, it was really my long form videos and my long form content that retained my audience, that allowed me to reach new audiences even when I wasn't working, and was a big reason why people wanted me to come back to social media, because I was very consistent back then in posting longer, more informative, more value-based videos. And so one of my bigger lessons here is when you focus on delivering high value content, you're gonna be able to build an audience that will actually miss you when you're gone. I can't count the amount of DMs that I got of people saying, Vanessa, I really miss your tips on social media. I really miss your videos. I really miss XYZ. Whereas on the other hand, there was basically nobody telling me that they missed my short form content of me just having a compilation of me working behind the scenes with a fancy quote post or me dancing on camera. And so even though I do understand and see the validity in the strategy of posting as many content pieces as possible, especially now that short form videos and short form content make it so easy for us to do so, I also see a lot of value in continuing posting long form content, and not just any long form content, but value-based content. Because at the end of the day, what I believe is that if you can attract an audience, even if it's not a big audience, of people who are willing to sit through a 5, 10, 15, 30, 60-minute video of yours, you basically have that subscriber or that follower for life. Now, for life might be an over-exaggeration, but what I mean is that you're gonna be able to attract a higher quality audience who may still stick around and even wait for you if you decide to take 6 months off, a year off, a year and a half off. You're gonna be able to really build a lasting legacy when you actually put valuable content out there in the world. And so that is why I believe that we shouldn't just focus on volume all the time of shitty content, but to actually focus on producing high valuable content for our audiences. All right, guys, I am reviewing the video, and now this has been my first week back to social media. When I filmed this video, I was not back yet. And wow, I really need to emphasize what I just said in this video, because now that I'm back, look at the comment section in my first video that I even posted. Even on Instagram, it's popping off. And I really do believe that if I was just someone that was posting a lot of short form content that didn't have a lot of value, I don't think I would have gotten the same reaction. And it was because of the last 5 years of me putting so much value and putting so much work in my long form content that I feel created such a strong community and such a strong audience that literally missed me while I was away. And so just as an update, because I am back to social media now, I just want to show you guys that holy crap, even though I was gone and I lost a lot of views, lost a lot of followers, lost a lot of money, you guys came through. And so want to share that with you guys, especially if you're a creator who's been in the game for a really long time and you've been putting value day in and day out. Don't be afraid to take a break. The people who genuinely support you will still be there waiting for your return. And so thank you guys so much for the support, and keep watching this video. Now, at this point in the video, you might be wondering, knowing what I know now, do I regret my decision for quitting social media? My income took a nosedive, my following took a nosedive, my views took a nosedive, and I find it really difficult to articulate my thoughts around this. And so I want to share a podcast clip of an interview between Jay Shetty and James Corden, where James Corden was asked whether or not he regrets his decision for quitting his famous talk show.
Because I think sometimes when we make a decision, we often feel like we have to convince ourselves it's the best decision in order to make it through. But for you to actually have the vulnerability to say, I actually don't know, that takes a lot of courage.
Well, I do know that ending the show, I do know that the reasons for it are absolutely right, yes. No question. But you don't know how those things will. You just don't know. You don't know any of it.
Yeah. There's something really beautiful that came out of what you said, this idea of reasons over results. Like, you know your reasons. You don't know what the result will be, but you're sure about your reasons. And that's something we can all practice and take on. Like, I think that's something everyone who's watching can apply, that you never know the result of your decision. You don't know how it's going to pan out, but you can be sure about your reasons.
Without question.
Now, what James said really resonated with me because so far in this video, I've really shared with you guys what I've observed while I was away and not posting on social media. But I still don't know what are the actual consequences, what are the actual implications now that I'm back. Now that I'm posting content again, is Instagram going to put me into shadow ban jail and none of you guys are ever going to see my posts? Will YouTube never push my content out again on the algorithm, even though I'm following every single strategy that I know and even though I'm being consistent? These are all things that I have no idea how it's going to pan out. And so it's really hard for me to answer the question of whether or not I regret the decision. Maybe I will regret the decision, or maybe I won't. But what I don't regret is my reasons for why I decided to leave. I left social media because I wanted to take back control of my life. I wanted to focus on my mental health. I wanted to repair my relationships, and I wanted to simply just be happy and live life to its fullest. That being said though, even though I don't know exactly what the future holds, the best that I can do is to rebuild from scratch with the experience that I have now. And so if you're interested in what I'm up to and how I'm starting from scratch and how I'm rebuilding and what my strategies are going to look like and how those strategies might have changed thanks to the lessons that I learned in this video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. Because in my next video, I'll be sharing my updated social media strategy for this year. As always, guys, thank you so much for supporting me and watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys, and take care.